AFC matchup. Let's go on to the other one. Another rematch, another revenge game here. This one is the one that This is the one that we wanted earlier in the season, as it's the Kansas City Chiefs gonna be at home. Supposed to be real darn cold. What they're saying, like around 0 degrees and like negative after wind chill, I believe is what I've read. So it's gonna be cold as hell. And Chiefs favored by 4.5, hosting the Miami Dolphins. Obviously, Tyreek factor comes in. You know, they had their little revenge game, quote unquote, in Germany, but none of us. I don't know if any of us are really counting that. So this one, obviously, more stakes attached to it. So who do you have here, John, and for how much?
I'm going with Miami. I don't know who wins, but I do think that with that weather, I expect it to be a really close game. It was very close last time, and that was without all the crazy weather. I do worry maybe a little bit about how Miami fares in the weather because Tua doesn't have the strongest of arms, and obviously, you know, they play in Miami. But, I mean, they've played in Buffalo, they've played in New England, they've played in some of these cold weather places, maybe not to this extent that it's going to be in this game specifically, but I just think that their run game can at least keep them within, you know, striking distance. And Kansas City, I don't know, I still just don't have faith in their offense to truly pull away. So I'm going to take Miami to cover for 300. Like I said, if I had to pick a winner, I'd probably lean Kansas City, but I don't truly have a feel on this one. So Miami to cover for 300, but not sure who wins.
Yeah, it's tough because this is not nearly the same Kansas City offense as we've seen in years past, especially explosively. It'll be interesting to see. Do they just lean into let's play defense and run the ball? But you know, in those grimy type games, all it takes is one Tyreek Hill screen where you know someone takes a bad angle or misses a tackle or slips on the snow or something, and then all of a sudden it's a whole different ball game. But I'm going with Kansas City nonetheless. I think the weather is a huge factor. We've mentioned concerns with the Dolphins, especially Tua, throwing the ball deep because the formula is out there. Spagnuolo's already kind of cracked that code back in Germany, and we've seen it the past month. Take away the screens, take away the outside runs, and then in the middle of the field, and then make them throw it. And then they have trouble throwing it deep. We saw it. Like I said, the Bills game we mentioned it. Terry got a couple, but there's a lot more that got picked or got broken up because the ball got there, a little late. And especially when you're playing in the wind, Mahomes is going to be fine because not only he's been in Kansas City for years, but we know great arm, and the way he throws it, his spiral and such, it pierces through the wind. The wind is not affected. While Tua's more of a anticipation lob pass kind of guy, where like we mentioned, like I just said, the weather's going to affect that. It's going to throw those things off, and and also Kansas City once again, they're a very physical team. They've always kind of been, but this year obviously they've had more lean into that physicality. Like I mentioned, run the ball, lean on your defense, and Miami, like we've seen against Philly, and multiple times throughout this past month, where they play teams that are more physical than them, especially in the trenches, and can neutralize everything else. That they've been pedestrian, to say the least. So, yeah, I think Kansas City just leaning on a little bit of veteran experience here. They find a way to get it done against the Dolphins, and they get to win. They move on. I do want to note too. I don't foresee them making a run, but I think this is for both these teams. These teams are gonna, whoever wins this is probably gonna be one and done. They're gonna win this game, probably lose next round. But we'll get to next round. So we're going with our first disagreement here. I'm going with the Chiefs to cover that 4.5 points by putting 200. 300. Keep it close.